Welcome in to Be Unexpected with Wyatt and Jake. Today we have Nebraska alum Caroline Frankie. Caroline, how's it going?
It's going well. How about you guys?
Good. So Caroline and I, we know each other. Like she interviewed me once at intramural flag football for Special Olympics. We both like sports and been like friends ever since then. So that's how we got to know each other. And Caroline's a big Chiefs fan, and Jake and I being Chiefs fans, we gotta have Chiefs fans on this podcast, of course.
I mean, you have to, especially now in the highlight of the Patrick Mahomes era. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
But
too
you're a
good.
diehard. Like you're from Kansas City, so it's not like you ever jumped on the bandwagon. You
yeah,
can always
No,
say,
exactly.
"I'm
Like
from Kansas City."
we have
So
like several areas Jake and I can choose from. Minnesota, Kansas City.
true.
But like you're like, no, I grew up there. Like
Grew up
good
there.
memories.
Yeah, was in the Matt Castle era.
mhm.
In our low times and now
Yeah,
high
tough years.
times.
Yeah.
Been there since day one.
Yeah. So Caroline, why don't you just share kind of like growing up and how you got involved in sports growing up?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I'm the oldest of four siblings. And I grew up starting to play soccer. I played soccer all throughout my life until I went to Nebraska. But I was heavily involved in Husker athletics there, which I'll get into later. And all my siblings and I are like super close in age. Like my youngest brother is about to graduate high school and I'm 23 years old. So if that kind of puts it into perspective of how close we are, and we all were athletic in our own ways. So it would be one of those things where it's like, when I stopped playing soccer when I went to college, I would still like live through my siblings and them playing sports too, because that was just what our lives were like when we were young. And it would just be a Saturday afternoon and it would be like soccer game, hockey game, football game. My sister was a competitive cheerleader, so her competition. So it was all just kind of crazy for the Franke family, really, because we were just so invested in sports. And also just growing up in Kansas City, I mean, the loyalty that city has for the professional sports teams alone is really how the city is as a whole. It just personality wise as well, because the entire city is super invested in their teams, like I said. So having that aspect, and then also just playing sports and being around sports my whole life, I kind of knew I wanted to get a career out of it. So when I was touring colleges, of course, being the firstborn, I was like, how does this process work? So my parents were awesome. I mean, helping me through all of that. And I have a really good family friend. And actually, this is pretty funny because the dad went to Iowa, the mom went to Nebraska. You would never expect that to work, but hey, it works. Anyways, the mom, her name's Jackie. Jackie, she is the biggest Husker fan I know. And she was like, you have to tour Nebraska. They have an awesome sports communications and broadcasting program. And I think it would be a great fit for you. And I was like, oh my gosh, I never thought about Nebraska, really. And it's only a 3-hour drive from Kansas City, because I wasn't sure if I wanted to be, far away from home or super close, because I felt like going to the University of Kansas was almost too close. It was only like half an hour from where I live or so. So Nebraska was really a good fit. And I toured the journalism school, and I like totally fell in love with it. I was like, these experiences that these kids get in this school in particular are unlike any of the other schools that I toured. So I applied, got in, and I actually started out wanting to be a sideline reporter for ESPN, which is crazy how life has turned, because now I'm more of a sports marketing side of things. But having that background of, the broadcasting side and the production side of things really has helped me grow into the marketing side as well, because knowing the things that go on behind the scenes at any sporting event is pretty unreal. So anyway, I started off, that was my goal. But then I was doing radio broadcasts and, trying to get as many experiences as possible. I wasn't fully loving broadcasting. I wasn't loving it. I liked it, but I didn't love it. So I was like, why do I feel this way? I feel like everybody's so good at broadcasting. I don't know if I'm great. And then just one day, it was like a few weeks after I kind of had that feeling, I was in a sports marketing class my junior year, and the associate athletic director came and spoke to the class, and it just seemed like a route that I would be really good at. I love being able to talk to clients and talk to people, and really have that partnership with them to be able to, have them be happy as well as the company be happy. Like I like being that middle, like mediator kind of, if that makes sense. So then I sent him an email. I was like, hey, I would love to just pick your brain and learn about like what you did or how you followed your path into sports. And he just gave me some really great advice. And one of them that really sticks with me is having your spider web be small won't be able to catch as many opportunities when it's small. So being able to grow your spider web so then you're able to catch as many opportunities as possible and many avenues as possible is the best advice that I could give. And I was like, that is fantastic. And I thought about that more. I was like, well, I have the broadcasting experience. I have the production experience with Husker Vision, with the athletic department, because I did a lot of live camera work for the volleyball team and both of the basketball teams through my time at school. And then now I'm, getting the advertising and marketing side of things because I felt that that's what I was interested in. So then fast forward a couple months later, I applied for a marketing and fan development role at Sporting Kansas City. And again, this brings me back to my roots. I grew up watching Sporting Kansas City. I played soccer. I was like, this is awesome. And I was like, you know what? This is a perfect internship to just get into the sports marketing world. And I ended up landing that internship, which is incredible. And I worked for an amazing organization that led me into then my senior year, where I was just kind of like, I really felt like I liked marketing, but I wanted to get even more specific. And I remember, being at my internship, and we would have these like internship development days where we would pretty much see like a day in the life of the different departments within Sporting Kansas City. And I remember one of them being a day about corporate partnerships and all the work that they do and the revenue that they bring in with all these partners. And I was like, this is awesome. So I met with a couple of folks in that department, and this lady named Christy Simmons, who still works at Sporting. She's incredible, has been an incredible mentor since, I guess that would have been summer of 2022 now. And I still, I'm in contact with her today, but she actually was the one that was like, I had this seasonal assistant internship with the Atlanta Falcons back when I graduated college. And it's an amazing program. They produce really great workers and give you above and beyond experience that in corporate partnerships that a lot of other organizations or teams maybe not offer. So she really recommended that I applied for that position, which would have been August of 2023. So it's still pretty far out, but she actually got me in contact with some people at the Falcons. And it's one of those things that it's like, you got to stay connected. And that's how I feel like, for example, with Wyatt, like we've been connected for like what, 2 years now?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and we're still friends. We still talk, and it's the same thing can be applied to work. So I eventually got the job with the Falcons, and was there for 6 months, and it was an incredible experience in corporate partnerships. And then I pivoted a little bit, and now I'm actually an account executive for an agency called Momentum Worldwide, and they have a huge presence here in Atlanta. And I'm actually overseeing and helping manage all of the events and activations for Coca-Cola. So I'm able to, and I'm managing a lot of their NCAA accounts. So I'm they're actually flying me out to the Final Four in Phoenix on April 3rd. So actually a week from today, right? Or a week from tomorrow, whatever that is, April 3rd. So I'll be down with some Coca-Cola people and my team down in Phoenix doing Coca-Cola events at the game and at the convention centers. There'll be a lot of fun activities down there for all the fans. So anyway, so that's what I'm doing now. So it's awesome that I'm able to do kind of both sports and client work, but then also be with this huge global company like Coca-Cola, which is actually headquartered here in Atlanta. So that is my journey so far in sports. As now I'm 23. So
Yeah, wow. So you were doing stuff with Husker Radio, Husker Vision, with like the university, or how what were you doing with them?
Yeah, so I was interning with Husker Vision. So
Okay.
it's pretty much all of the, live camera work essentially with the athletic department. And the team was awesome. And I was able to do all the live camera. So anything you see up on the video board is
Yeah.
essentially what the
Oh.
team does, give or take. I know
Mm.
some people did a lot of other creative things that I'm not super creative when it comes to video content. I wish I was, but I'm not. So I was just the live camera operator. So I was at all the home volleyball games, all the home men's and women's basketball games, and I was there right under the hoop or right on the sideline of the court, getting all that live
Mm.
footage. So which was an awesome experience to be able to, work for Husker Athletics because it's incredible as it is. So
So
So then
didn't you?
how did you get to meet Wyatt then? And when did you through that did you meet Wyatt and interview him?
So it was actually through one of my classes. I'm pretty sure,
Oh.
I'm trying to remember what class it was. I think it was one of my sports broadcasting classes, if
Mhm.
I remember correctly. And I remember we were given, I believe, 3 or 4 different projects throughout the year, and it had to be, I guess it somewhat had to be tied into sports. And I remember and I think Wyatt, you probably still remember Ashton Sandman. She
Yeah,
participated in
yeah. I remember
the
Ashton.
football because you guys were playing football, right?
Yeah,
Was it
she was like one of the better unified players, and it was just like I
yeah,
don't.
so she was one of my friends, and she still is. And so she was actually like, oh my gosh, like this would be great for your project. Because I was just talking to her about it. She was like, this would be awesome for your project. She was like, I know some great people that would love to be interviewed. And the first person that she mentioned was Wyatt. So he was one of my interviews, and I remember we were sitting on the sideline on the bench, and I, had my phone, and we were like
Oh
recording
yeah,
back and forth, and I had all my questions, and it was awesome. And I used a ton of that content for that project, which I ended up getting an A on, like I said earlier. So
nice,
I'm like,
nice.
it had to have been just I mean, the whole point of it was really just to have strong interviews. And so
Yeah, yeah. Because
really,
I was like, it's intramural flag football. What's the come in intramural flag football? But I was like, all right, I'll do it. But
yeah.
yeah, that was cool because like you were super in sports. I'm in sports, and sometimes the people that play in the leagues, like the guys and girls, they're like, yeah, I'm just here to have fun. Like, are you like into the sport though?
Yeah,
Like,
true. That is the thing. Some people are like, oh, we're just here to have fun, but then we're over here like, oh, we're so competitive. We're so
yeah,
into
it's like we gotta win. You know,
yeah,
like, you gotta
true,
try to win. I
true.
remember I tried to get you to play, I think soccer, wasn't it, or basketball? I was trying to
Oh, I
convince
think it
you
was
to play.
basketball.
Yeah, I was trying to convince you to play, and I was
I
like,
know, but then I
man.
do remember that, and then I was like, oh shoot, like because then at that point I think I was working, I was still working for Husker Vision, so I was a lot of the
Yeah,
games and stuff like overlapped with
yeah, it was always on a Wednesday, but
yeah, so it just like didn't work, which I was like, oh, like I wish it was because I mean I never played basketball. I'm not the best at basketball, which is weird
well,
because
that
my
was
mom
like kind of the point. Like, if you're athletic, it didn't matter. I mean,
still
but
fun, still fun.
yeah, so that's how we met, and then you got to kind of back to your broadcasting. You had to be on the sidelines for like one of the spring games, right?
Yeah, good question. You're really bringing back a lot of my memories from college. Yeah, I was a part of the first all women's broadcast at the University of Nebraska, which is awesome. I my role, I was a keeping stats as well as I was a spotter, which is one of the roles up there. So pretty much, if a tackle was made and the play-by-play announcer didn't see who it was, I was, the binoculars. Um, and I also did the pre-half and post-game show along with 2 other ladies. So it was a great experience, and met some folks from the Big Ten Network too. And yeah, it couldn't have been a more perfect day. So it was a great experience. So I guess that's one of those things when it pops up in my memories, all the photos on my phone, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I was really a part of that.
Yeah. Is there any like sports figures or like reporters you looked up to as a kid growing up when you got into sports?
Yeah, I would say, oh my gosh, that's a really good question. Like I said, I watched a lot of soccer, especially Sporting KC, and I watched the Chiefs too and the Royals too, and I could pick out players from there. But I would say like my family, we had season tickets for a while at Sporting KC. But one of the players that I really looked up to was Jimmy Nielsen. He was the goalkeeper for Sporting when they won the MLS Cup back in. I'm not even going to say what year it was because I will probably be wrong and I don't want to be wrong. So, but he was one of the goalkeepers. And I was actually a goalie back when I played soccer. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. So I always looked up to him and always watched him, when we went to the games along with Matt Beasler too. Matt Beasler is awesome. Like Hall of Famer. He's great. So,
So when did you, with your broadcasting stuff and all that, so when did you kind of realize like, okay, I don't have a full on love and passion for this, and kind of like change your route? Because I'm sure that's a lot. I mean, doing all this stuff, and at some point you got to change. So when did that kind of happen for you?
yeah, no, that's a good question. It was one of those things where it was really tough because I was like, oh, why am I having these feelings? Because it was my junior year, which is I feel like everyone says, junior year is like the most important year. Like everybody says that even in high school and then in college. And I was like, oh, this is like so stressful. But junior year was the year that I was doing a lot of those radio broadcasts for the Husker, like football and some basketball as well. And yeah, like I said, it was that sports marketing class that I took, and I remember the professor, his name's Brian Petrata, and he's awesome. And it's just all the things that we were doing in that class. I was like, why do I just like feel so excited to go to this class? And I just was kind of felt like I was going through the motions almost when I was, doing radio broadcasting, or when I was in my broadcasting classes, I guess. It was dependent on the class, because I will say the classes that I was able to record and be able to like talk face to face with people and have that aspect I really enjoyed. But it was kind of the going through the motions of play by play that I was just like, I wasn't sure. And it was tough. It was like a lot of conversations that I had, like even with my friends that are in sports too, because it's crazy now, like me and two of my best friends, I mean, we still talk every day, but we all work in sports, all three of us, and we're all in different avenues in sports. And I talked with them just a lot about it, and my parents, and everybody was super supportive of like, it's okay to not know if you want to be in broadcasting or not, because it's one of those things where it's like, if I felt like I wanted to go back to it, I definitely could. But it's also like, if you are having doubts and you want to try a new route, why not? I mean, we're young, we can really seek out anything that we are interested in. And that's exactly what I did my junior year.
Was it more of like, obviously you're interviewing people and you're talking stuff, but like being more face to face in like your day to day than being behind a mic continually? Was that a lot of it? Because you're very sociable, it seems like. So you want to be more like working with people during the day.
Yes. Yeah. Cause that's what I completely agree with that. That's exactly it. I really felt like having a collaborative space to work, like where I am face to face with people and we're working on projects and things are super interactive. And that's why I think I really like what I do now, because it's one of those things where it's like you work on this project or this event for X amount of months and you can finally see it come together. Like that is rewarding to me. And meanwhile, doing all of it with your team, but then also with your client too, to satisfy their needs and their wants, and so that they're happy with the final product too. I absolutely love that part of it. Just like being able to talk to people is the common denominator of what I love to do. If that was a job in itself, just to talk to people, I would do it.
Yeah.
Nice. So like kind of going then to like your professional soccer job internship, and then your internship with the Falcons, kind of like what did you learn behind the scenes that a lot of us wouldn't even know and you thought was so cool about both jobs?
Yeah, behind the scenes, I'll start with the Falcons, just because it's very fresh in my mind, specifically in corporate partnerships. And I think that the Falcons are a really, really, really awesome example of this because of how high tech the stadium is. I mean, it's new, 2017 was the first year that it was open. So it's, I mean, very, very new. And the partners that the Falcons have are awesome. And being able to see, you know, the behind the scenes of having, you know, a budget of, you know, how much your client has invested in the Falcons, and being able to see all of their graphics go up on all the big screens. It's one of those things that I never really noticed until I was in the industry, if that makes sense. So the next game you guys go to, or whatever game it is, because there's advertisements everywhere. And for example, like Coca-Cola had like a special advertisement after, or actually, no, this is a better example that I can really remember. Like when the Falcons got a sack, there's a restaurant called Zaxby's. So it'd be like a Zaxby's sack. And so then if the Falcons got a sack, then people would get a free Zaxby's meal, you know? So it's just like one of those things like that is all corporate partnerships, like even down to that, which is incredible. And a lot of people don't really notice that that's what corporate partnerships is. And I mean, that's a small portion of it, but it's all those things that go on behind the scenes that then play out in the middle of the game. That is really awesome, that I'm really passionate about.
You know, wow, you don't even really think of like that kind of stuff, or like even if you're like a Husker game or watching any of that stuff, it's just kind of there, and it's a really good job, but you don't really think about the people who are behind the scenes working their butt off to do it. So that's pretty cool. I'm to hear about that.
Well, even like for example, like Runza is like a huge partner of Nebraska athletics. You know what I mean? Like,
like a Big Mac sack.
Yes, Big Mac sack. There you go.
Yeah,
it's so incredible. It's like all these brands. Yeah, so it's cool.
And so, what do you learn about in the soccer industry then?
Yeah, soccer industry. So that was more. So I was more of the marketing side. So it pivots a little bit. And so during the games, like I was the girl, I was wearing the headset, I was down on the field. You know, if there was a substitution, I would speak directly to the production studio upstairs, and then that they would relay the message to the PA announcer, and he's the one that's like the full stadium, like substitution, you know what I mean? So it all like starts with one person. And again, that's one of those things where it's like a lot of people don't realize that. And I think the common denominator for that is communication, and just, you know, communicating with people to make an event successful, as well as just, you know, managing a lot of the, you know, halftime shows or whatever, things like that is a lot of what I did at Sporting. So having a lot of you know, you got to coordinate a lot of things, which can get stressful at times, especially when you're dealing with a lot of people. But it's definitely good, you know, good things to learn, especially, you know, behind the scenes too, to make it all happen.
There's so many little details with all these. I mean, not just from Nebraska to Sporting to the Falcons to whoever. There's so many things that I can imagine if you didn't do your job well, then you didn't really well, and then the announcer says the wrong, like, so there's so many small details.
No, for sure.
Because Jake, you work for the Chiefs, and
so
because like you guys don't really get to watch the game, right?
So we did the tailgate, the tailgate outside of the stadium. So imagine if like people weren't, if that wasn't there wouldn't be like a loud music, big environment. And then so imagine if we didn't tear it down, so it just gets left. So there's so many little things, so
Jake, what were some like key points from your job with the Chiefs that you like absolutely loved? Like, what are some things that you've learned that you like take with you, like even now in your life?
So I would definitely say how like little the details they would have you do, all these little things, but imagine if you didn't do them, and then you get fired. And so I saw people like lose their job at the stadium because they weren't doing these small things. And so and then just being able to like go around the stadium and see all the stuff behind the scenes, how it works. It's so much more than what you see you sit on your couch on a Sunday afternoon and watch.
So true.
So there's so many details to it.
Yeah. You would text me and be like, I'm passing out surveys right now.
Yeah, like I was on the survey staff. I was, you know, handing out like passes to other workers. So
well, it's cool because you're able to like touch so many different things on a game day, you know what I mean? And like learn so many things that can like take you even further in your career too, you know? Like not everybody gets, even though it's like a small thing, but like a lot of people don't even get the opportunity to even do that or even live
Right,
crazy.
yeah.
So it's like snaps to like you doing that. Like that's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, like for one example, I had to a week leading up, I had to set up like postcards for the all staff meeting they had every week, and I
Mhm.
had to go kick Sammy Watkins out of a cafeteria.
What?
And I'm
my
just like this
God.
little kid walking in, and I'm like, hey, can you put your feet down and leave? And there was another big old lineman with him too.
Oh boy.
And I probably mumbled my words or something, but they eventually left. But
Wow.
and I
Wow.
was trying to set pens here, and their feet were there. So it's
Oh,
like you just gotta move your feet.
Oh,
So it's
oh,
like
I
the
would be
little
so
things like that
nervous.
I'd share with everyone. It's like I just told Sammy Watkins to move. So
that's hilarious.
yeah.
That's
That's
so funny.
insane. See,
Oh
people
my.
don't get to do that every day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. It's
exactly.
true.
Did you ever
True.
see Mahomes?
I did, but we were told not to like make a big deal out of anything. Like
Yeah.
one time Brett
Yeah.
Favre was there, and
Oh,
he was like
wow.
across the hall, and you look through the window and you see Mahomes and Brett Favre there, but you just go throughout your day and get your job done. You don't stop and go take pictures with them
Right.
because you're the
Right.
seasonal dude. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe the higher up people get to go do that, but we still got to go take out the trash and hand out surveys. So
Yeah,
Hey.
exactly.
yeah,
It all works out.
yeah.
So
That's awesome.
Caroline, growing up, who outside of like just like the sports profession, like friends, family, had a big impact on you just going for your goals and dreams in life and in the sports industry?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, it's probably a pretty straightforward answer, but really my parents. I just remember, going through the whole college process of figuring out where I wanted to go, like I said earlier. And I remember my dad just saying, you can pick a career that you're passionate about. And because at the end of the day, if you are enjoying work, then you will be successful because that's what you're passionate about. And I took that to heart, and I knew that my passion was in sports. I really can't see myself doing anything else but working in sports, or at least touching sports in some aspect of my career, because honestly, just sitting at a desk from 9 to 5 is not my cup of tea. And it is for other people, and that's
Right.
fantastic.
Yep.
But for me, I wanted to do something I was passionate about. So I think my true inspiration is from my parents, who really encouraged me to, not just worry about the pay or worry about this and that. Just find something you're passionate about, because that's what matters, and that will make you successful.
And it's cool. It sounds like they really encourage you to try different things and supported you when you want to change directions and to feel supported specifically by your parents. I'm sure that was like that's just like feel like they're behind you and supporting you. So that's really great.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I don't know if you guys like have felt the same way, or who has inspired both of you guys to still, be passionate about sports or whatever you're passionate about. Who has inspired both of you guys? Whoever wants to take that
Yeah.
first.
So I'm a twin. So my twin brother probably. I mean, my parents too, but like being a twin, we just like really pushed each other, and we're always there to like work out together. And when we went off to
Yeah.
college, different colleges, we were just like always holding each other accountable. So it's just like our intensity. Jake would know.
Yeah.
We were like pretty intense.
You two are very intense brothers,
Yeah.
and you still are to this day.
Like
Yeah.
just super competitive, or
Yeah,
just
like we're like if like my brother would leave a pickup game if guys were messing around. Like I'm here to
Yeah.
play.
Oh.
And like so then he'd come find me because I have a disability, and they're only gonna pick me if they don't have enough guys. And so he'd come find me, be like, let's go play some guys 2-on-2. Because he knew I'd play hard.
Let's
Yeah.
And I'd
go.
play
Yeah.
and and so because like I don't think this is my games. I went 1 year where I didn't play on a team. There wasn't a team for me to play on. I didn't join
Wow.
Special Olympics till like the next year. And so I literally just went to the Y to shoot and had no games. And
Yeah.
but yeah, like because we were so intense, and
Yeah.
my brother and I were talking about the day, like, yeah, we probably like crossed the line a couple times, but we're okay. So
You have to. It's okay.
You'd rather, especially like when you're high school, college, you'd rather be like over the edge, enthusiastic, and work hard than like be like that kid that's lazy and just thinks
Oh, for
everything's given
sure.
to them,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
No, I completely agree. Yeah.
So Jake, who
Yeah, I
coached
would
you?
probably just say for my dad growing up. I mean, it was always like, if you're gonna start something and finish it, if you're gonna do it, like you better work hard, or else I'm
Mm.
probably gonna get upset with you. So, yeah, I don't know. I just whatever if I started, finished, just like how to treat your teammates and just like the
Mhm,
small things, like we
for
talked about
sure.
earlier. So,
Yeah,
You
no, that's for sure. Yeah.
you had so you have several brothers that play hockey and soccer, is that right?
Yes, yeah. I have one sister and two brothers. And yeah, both my brothers played hockey. One of them is in college now, but my youngest brother played hockey, finished hockey, it's a senior year. So I guess no more hockey, but we still watch a lot of hockey, very invested in hockey. My brother Patrick, the one in college, he goes to Boston College, and obviously Boston College is number one in the country right now in college
yeah,
hockey. So
Yeah.
he's been very, very, very heavily invested in Boston College hockey, as well as our whole family, which is pretty incredible. So
why you went to a professional game in Denver this winter,
Yeah,
didn't
I
you, or
went to
last
the
winter?
Avalanche. It was like,
no way.
yeah, like not this birthday, but the birthday before that. My brother's wife, she got us tickets for our birthday because we've never been, we're
Yeah,
basketball players,
Oh yeah,
but like I loved it because it was like, basketball and baseball, some people are there just for the socialization. Hockey, everyone's there for the team.
for
hmm
That
sure.
was so cool.
yeah.
Like,
And
Jake,
it's
have you
just
ever
so
been to?
fast paced.
Yeah, I
Like,
No,
know. Like,
I
it's
haven't
so
been to.
fast.
I've been to a couple of UNO hockey games, and they're in
Okay.
the. They
of
made the.
course.
I think they're one of the higher, like not higher, but the last seeds in. But I think they made they play it this coming week too. So
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, because like I try to watch it on TV when basketball's not on yet. It's
mm,
hard to
Yeah.
follow if you don't
yeah,
watch it much. Like I try to get involved in pro, then college. I had a friend in college that was super into it, so I
Uh-huh.
loved watching it because then it was fun because he was into it. But by
Yeah.
myself, I'm like, I need to watch this with somebody. I can't get into it by myself because I watch a bunch of
Yeah.
so
That's true. It is fun. Like hockey, I feel like is one of those sports that it could be like easily, like you could easily get into it because it's just like so fast paced, and like
yeah,
I feel like you can always find somebody that is
mm,
like kind of into hockey, hopefully.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
and then but
Yeah.
yeah,
So going forward, Caroline, you're living in Atlanta. You're working, and so kind of what's next for it? Are you going to continue with the job, or do you like to move out of Atlanta, or what's in store?
Yeah, that's a great question. Because I really I do think a lot about that. I'm very futuristic. I don't know about you guys, but very futuristic. And I haven't lived in Atlanta for even a year yet. I've been here since August, but and I just landed my job. So I foresee myself being here. I picture it, a few years.
Hmm
But it's one of those things where it's like God has a plan for me. So, and I can't sit here and try to plan it for myself
hmm
when he already has it for me,
Yeah.
um, so I think, one at some point in my life, I see myself moving back to the Midwest. I love Kansas City, and the people in Kansas City. My whole family lives in Kansas City, even from like my aunts, uncles, cousins,
hmm
grandparents. Like every person lives in Kansas City. So there are, some holidays that I miss or whatever, but I love the family feel of Kansas City, even though my family does live there. But outside of even my own family in Kansas City, just it feels like home. And it's easy to say that when
hmm
wherever you grow up, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
But needless to say, I don't regret my decision moving to Atlanta at all. I feel like I've grown as a person. I've been able to get out of my comfort zone, which is something that I
hmm
really wanted to do after I graduated college, because like I said, I'm young. And if I were to move, it would be now before,
hmm
everything else comes down the road when it comes
hmm
to like having a family of my own and getting older, whatever it is. So I'm really happy with where I'm at. And it's one of those things where it's like wherever life takes me. So someday I picture it
Yeah.
back in the Midwest. So then I'll be closer to you guys too.
Yeah.
Cool. Before you go, we have to talk about these two teams. Nebraska football and Kansas City. Like, give your take on both the season. How do you think we'll do? Is there hope for Nebraska football?
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. All the right questions. And we'll have to get your guys' take too, because I like all the opinions.
Mhm.
But to start off, we'll start with Nebraska football. I mean, we obviously know there's been a lot of moving parts with the athletic department the last few weeks, right? But I'm still feeling very confident about Matt Rule. I'm feeling confident about our schedule. And I think having Dylan Raiola, hopefully, I really hope that having him as a quarterback and hopefully a leader with our team can hopefully progress. Or just, I mean, should we just set our standards at just making a bowl game at least?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Can that just be our standard for this season? Like, we don't even have to like win the Big Ten. Like, I just want to make a bowl game.
All right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What do you think, Wyatt? Like, what is?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm kind of with Caroline. Like, we had Dylan Raiola. I mean, I think it'd be a shocker if he didn't start. I mean, he got him in here. Might as well. He's a freshman. Just let him make his mistakes. He's probably better than whatever we had last 10 years or whatever. And then, we got to fix our offensive line. People are always like, we need wide receivers and we need this. It's like, no, you need a quarterback and then you need the offensive line. And we
Completely
don't
agree.
get an offensive line.
Yeah.
And like, look at Martinez. Like, maybe he would have had a better career. We had a better offensive line. So
Fair. I like that point.
that's my big thing. And we're so close, guys. It's not like we get killed. We're just so close.
We're so close.
I know.
Yeah.
It's like,
I feel like we said that every game with that last year with Scott Frost. It was just every game.
Every game. I mean, like 7-point difference, like every game. It's like, I mean, there were just us as fans were like, oh,
yeah,
of course, like this happens. But like, I don't know. I don't want to be that person to say it's our season because we say that every season, but like, I kind of have a special feeling about this one.
Yeah, definitely in the right direction, I think. But it's like you said, you made a good point. It's quite the whirlwind of the last few weeks with the Husker athletic department and Trev leaving. But I'll say like whatever Rule's doing, I'm behind it. So.
Right. Yeah. He's hopefully, I think he probably is having a very positive impact, like on at least his players, but, so hopefully that the positive impact there that he's, portraying as a coach progresses into the season in August. So we'll only hope.
We can't be that bad. Look at the places where he came from. He went 1-11 at Baylor and Temple, and he goes 5-7 here. It's like, that's not that bad.
We're climbing up the ladder. We'll get there eventually.
5-7 is probably like, he's probably, oh, this is gonna be cake compared to like Baylor and Temple. But all right, and the Chiefs. I mean,
the Chiefs. Oh gosh, I'm okay. So I'm a little okay, not nervous. I'm still pumped. I mean, the Chiefs are a powerhouse. I mean, we're the new dynasty. Everybody knows it.
Yeah.
But I'm a little nervous with Snead leaving. He signed with. Who do you sign?
I saw it left. I don't know.
No, he signed with. Dang it.
Was it Jaguars? I don't know.
Might have no.
I don't know. But he's
I don't know.
gone.
He did leave. He signed somewhere.
Yeah.
I should know this as a loyal Chiefs fan, but I forgot. But anyways, that kind of makes me a little bit nervous. But I saw that we got a new guy. I want to say is he from Texas Tech maybe? Because Patrick Mahomes like knew him or something. Like
I think I heard about that.
I saw something like that. So hopefully we're getting young rookies that are ready to play under Andy Reid. I mean, Andy Reid, I hope he doesn't retire anytime soon because that man is awesome. Great coach. And I think that is a crucial part of why the Chiefs are the Chiefs. And why Patrick Mahomes is just like so awesome. I mean, he's already awesome to begin with, but having Andy Reid as his coach like just makes it 10 times better. And I still think the Chiefs are gonna win their division this year. I'm still feeling confident about that. And I mean, I don't really know what other teams are making big moves except for the Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
Mr. Kirk Cousins, but I don't know. What do you guys think?
There's like the Chargers are gonna trade with the Vikings there maybe for like
For a pick?
Really?
yeah, like because the Vikings want JJ, and then so
From Michigan.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
did see
then,
that.
which I would think who's the tight end from Georgia?
Bowers.
Oh,
Bowers.
yes.
I would think the
Yeah.
Chargers would want him. He's probably like the most athletic guy in the draft. And
I
like,
mean, you would think, but the Chargers have been making some iffy decisions, and I don't know.
yeah,
Something is up.
it's weird.
Mm.
But I mean, come on, guys, let's face it. Like after this year, you can't doubt the Chiefs now. They led the league in
Mhm.
drop passes, and they still won the Super Bowl.
See,
Mhm.
that's the thing.
Exactly.
And the more doubt that the Chiefs get, I think it makes us better. So
Mhm.
I hope everybody keeps doubting.
Mm.
Because I mean, look at what happens.
They
Nobody
did get,
thought we'd win the Super Bowl last year.
yeah, they did get rid of some wide receivers. It was like, thank God, they could not
Mm.
hold on to the ball.
No,
I
not at all.
mean,
Not
what
at
do
all.
Jake, what do you think? You were in the building. What's your
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I'm 100% dynasty. I don't know what. Like I don't know how you could pick against them right now. You know what I mean? Like the whole year and going to the playoffs, like you knew the Chiefs were going to make a run. So
For sure.
yeah. And you know they're going to draft well. So that's just how it's going to be. So
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
Good take.
All right.
And one last question that I have for you guys with March Madness. What do you guys thinking Final Four? I don't know how your brackets are looking. Mine don't look great. I do have Tennessee in a couple of them though. So
Yeah, I have like UConn, Tennessee, Houston. I think I have one. Yeah, my best one. I have all three number ones except Purdue. I replaced that one with Tennessee.
nice.
I have Duke winning a couple. I'm a
Yep.
Duke fan.
Of course.
Yeah, I feel like probably 15 brackets a year though. So
yeah,
Good.
that's you
good.
do. Why you always have a bunch.
yeah. Well, like ours that we're in together, Jake. I'm like my champion got out right away. Auburn lost.
Oh,
I had
geez.
Auburn in one of mine
Really?
too. Oh, I was so
Oh my
mad.
God. And then Jake and I went to the Omaha games on Saturday, and it was like the Illinois game was like a blowout. It was just
yeah.
like I was so that's why I knew when BYU lost. It was like, man, now the game's just gonna be a blowout. Like
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't know how you pick against UConn right now. I do think they'll win it all, but I'd love to see Creighton, but
True.
Oh, yeah.
I would
I don't
love to
know.
see. That would be good.
we'll see. I think UConn's I think they're gonna win it all.
I mean, they're unstoppable right now
Yeah.
from what it looks like. I mean, every game that I watch, I'm like, I mean, this team's incredible. So
Yeah.
I mean, we would just need a huge upset somewhere,
Mhm.
but
yeah,
we'll see.
Yep.
it almost seems like UConn and North Carolina are like I think they meet. Yeah, they meet in the semis, the Final Four.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like they're just like going through teams.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
So
Yeah.
we'll see, but
Yeah.
We'll see.
I know. Well, Caroline, thanks for coming on and sharing your story, talking sports with us, and good luck with everything that you have going on in your sports journey.
Yeah, thanks for
Thank
having me, guys. Yeah, this has been awesome, and we'll stay in touch for sure, as we always do. So, and it was good to meet you, Jake. So,
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, thanks.